Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of truth, lovers of the strange, and connoisseurs of the downright bizarre, welcome back to This Is It. Today, we're diving into a belief system so unusual that even science fiction authors might take notes. That's right, we're talking about the Nation of Islam, the black nationalist religious movement that blends Islam, sci-fi, and a splash of downright colorful madness for flavor. And oh boy, do we have some stories for you. From secret scientists to UFOs, from assassination plots to the ever-mysterious Yakub, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most peculiar religious political organizations to emerge in America. Buckle up, because this one gets wild. The Nation of Islam, NOI, was founded in 1930 in Detroit by a mysterious figure known as Wallace Farr Muhammad. No one really knows where he came from, and that's not an exaggeration. His origins are about as clear as a foggy mirror. Some say he was from Mecca, others claim he was from Afghanistan, and the FBI had their own theories. Regardless, he preached a brand of black empowerment wrapped in a supremacist Islamic shell. His teachings were designed to uplift African Americans, who, according to his doctrine, were the original people of Earth, while white people were a, let's say, manufactured anomaly. After Farr Muhammad disappeared in 1934, because of course he did, the leadership passed to Elijah Muhammad, the man who would truly define the Nation of Islam as we know it today. Elijah Muhammad took Farr's teachings and ran with them, doubling down on the idea that white people were not just a problem but an artificial race created by a rogue scientist named Yakub. More on that in a moment. The strange beliefs. Okay, let's talk about Yakub. If you thought L. Ron Hubbard's Xenu was out there, brace yourself. According to Noi doctrine, around 6,600 years ago, a black scientist named Yakub, described as a literal big-headed scientist, conducted genetic experiments on an island called Patmos. His goal? To create a race of inherently evil white beings to rule over the original black race. Yakub was supposedly a master geneticist who, through a long process of selective breeding, gradually bred out the dark-skinned traits of his test subjects, creating lighter and lighter individuals until, voila! The white race was born. This process took several hundred years, and during that time, Yakub's followers exiled darker-skinned individuals, ensuring that only those with increasingly lighter complexions remained. The experiment was ultimately deemed a success, if you consider creating an evil race a success, and these new white-skinned beings were eventually banished to the caves of Europe, where they supposedly lived in an animalistic state until they developed into what we now know as modern Europeans. Now, Here's where it gets even wilder. According to Noi beliefs, white people were not just a different race but a literal biological weapon designed by Yakub to sow chaos, destruction, and oppression. They were genetically programmed to be deceptive and cruel, ruling over the darker-skinned peoples of the world through trickery and violence. And, according to Noi doctrine, this rule would continue until a great reckoning, after which the original black race would reclaim its rightful place as rulers of the world. UFOs and the mother plane. And if you thought it couldn't get weirder, let's talk about the Nation of Islam's obsession with UFOs. Elijah Muhammad preached about a gigantic spaceship called the Mother Plane or Wheel, an advanced flying craft allegedly hovering above Earth, waiting for the day it will unleash destruction upon the wicked. Sound familiar? That's because it's eerily similar to both biblical prophecies and the plot of Independence Day. According to Noi doctrine, the mother plane was built by black scientists over 15,000 years ago. This massive spaceship, supposedly a mile in diameter, is said to contain 1,500 smaller baby planes that will one day be released to rain destruction upon the enemies of the black race. It's essentially a cosmic doomsday device, waiting for the right moment to intervene and end white rule on Earth. Louis Farrakhan, the current leader of the Noi, doubled down on this belief, claiming he had a personal encounter with the mother plane in 1985. According to Farrakhan, he was taken aboard the ship, where he received messages from Elijah Muhammad, who had been dead for a decade at that point. Basically, this movement has elements of Islam, black nationalism, science fiction, and a hint of the X-Files. Famous members and controversies. The Nation of Islam has attracted some very high-profile members over the years. MalcolmX, of course, was one of the most famous, though his relationship with the Noi ended bitterly. After he left the organization, he was assassinated in 1965, and many believe the Noi was behind it. Another famous member, Muhammad Ali, who joined in the 1960s and adopted the Noi's racial doctrines before later transitioning to mainstream Sunni Islam. He credited the Noi with instilling discipline and purpose in his life but, like Malcolm, distanced himself from their stranger teachings. And then there's Louis Farrakhan, a man who has kept the Noi alive in modern times while also managing to say something inflammatory in every decade since the 1970s. Farrakhan has been criticized for anti-Semitic remarks, bizarre conspiracy theories, and his continued insistence that the mother plane is coming any day now. Still, he has maintained influence, particularly among certain circles of black activism. The Noi today. In recent years, the Noi has lost much of its influence, though it still maintains a following. It has adapted to modern times by engaging in community service and social activism, but its core beliefs, including Yakub's genetic experiment and the coming war involving the mother plane, remain intact. Meanwhile, mainstream Islamic scholars continue to reject Noor teachings as a deviation from true Islam. And yet, the movement persists, continuing to attract those who find something compelling in its message of racial chauvinism, empowerment, and, well, UFOs. So, what have we learned today? That the Nation of Islam is part religious movement and part science fiction novel, and entirely fascinating. Whether you see it as a movement for racial revanchism or an elaborate mythology wrapped in religious trappings, one thing is for sure, it's never boring. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's strangest belief systems, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And as always, stay curious, stay skeptical, and remember, if a big-headed scientist invites you to an island for a special experiment, maybe just say no.